this project is also currently being tendered. The contractors who were pre-selected as part of the board, the Grenville Commercial Complex board, we have been working closely with them on this project, so we are looking forward to receiving those bids back. It will be out for 8 weeks. This is an important project for the Grenville area. We anticipate significant impact in terms of job creation, opportunities for service providers as well for that project. It's an important project for Grenville. It's one of the long-standing projects, and we are very much happy to have that project being tendered currently at this time. The Seamoon Cultural Center, as most persons would have known, the Seamoon Cultural Center was destroyed by Hurricane Ivan in 2004, and we have been working since 2018 to now very hard to get this project up and running. We have completed a number of activities, and I'm happy to indicate that that project is now also out for tender. And so soon, very soon, we believe that before the end of this year, we are going to have work commence at the Seamoon Cultural Center to have that, to bring back cultural activities back to the community of Seamoon. They have been looking for it. Had an opportunity to consult with them when we were looking at the concept designs, and they are very excited about that project. We know that this project will bring a significant number of jobs, economic activity back into the Seamoon Paradise area. And the parliamentary rep, Prime Minister, have been very forceful in ensuring that this project, is one of the strongest advocates for this project to ensure that it is completed successfully, so that we can have our carnival activities. Unfortunately, not this year, but hopefully next year, we can have our semi-finals. Calypso semi-finals, Papi that used to take place in Seamoon. Will be well nice to have that back at Seamoon once we have that facility up and completed. So the people of St. Andrews, they are very much happy about this project. The Maurice Bishop International Airport upgrade project, we are working closely with the contractor to ensure that the project continues to move forward. We are focusing on having the bypass road completed. It is expected to have the designs for the bypass road completed on or before the 10th of July, and thereafter work will commence on the bypass road. Also, work is being done in terms of the designs for the air bridge, and also for the other works to be done on the runway as well. So work is moving smoothly in that regard, and we are working with all our stakeholders to ensure that we deliver and upgrade work as the activities at the airport is it's minimal right now. It gives us an opportunity to implement successfully that project to see an upgrade of the operations at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Another very important project is the Halls of Justice. For some time, we have been working to find a suitable place for courts. It's an important branch of government, the judiciary, and we have been working together with all our stakeholders, the Bar Association, the Ministry of Legal Affairs, of course the OECS Supreme Court. We have been working to get this project moving. And so I'm happy to indicate that currently we are at the stage where the designs for the project have been approved, and we are now working with a Bolt provider to move forward in terms of financing this project. And we, after this phase, we'll be discussing in terms of the development agreement to see this project being implemented in the not too distant future. So we are happy to announce this project. Another important project for the community of St. David's, Lasages, the lighting of the Lasages playing field. We have received grant support from the Canadian Banknote, and I want to personally place on record our gratitude to the Canadian Banknote, and of course Simon Wall, the local director here, who have again come forward to provide support for the development of our communities through sports. And the last time they had given us significant support as we were fighting COVID. They were the first to come out to give a major support for Grenada, and today again they have come forward and given a grant support towards the lighting of the Las Vegas playing field. A contract have been issued for the lighting of this playing field, and we should see work commencing shortly. We need to have some discussions, of course, with the persons using the playing field before we officially hand over the site to the contractor. So those discussions and communications, questions, as consultation will be held with the community members as we move forward. But I think this is a welcome development for the community of Las Vegas. I do oftentimes have an opportunity to engage persons who use that facility. It's heavily used, and I know that has been one of the major demands or requests that have been coming, an opportunity for light, so that the exercising, the training, the games can go in later into the evening. And so we are very excited about this development. So this is the updates that we have today from our infrastructure. So I'll wait later for any questions on this project or any other projects that I may not mention, because we do have our feeder roads project as well ongoing in the various areas. So I now give my colleague Minister Steele an opportunity to give his update. Thank you.
Good morning all. Good morning, Les. Good morning to you, Senator Cox, and to all of our members of the media and public out there who are looking or listening to us. As usual, I want to start with just an update of our status quo. We do not have any cases in Grenada at present or in quarantine. At present, as of yesterday, 18,796 persons had received their first dose, and 9,824 have received their second dose. We do have information as well that between the Ministry of Health and Royal Grenada Police Force, they're following a lead of 2 additional persons who may have snuck in from St. Vincent. And once we have more information, we will give an update. When last I was here, I'm sure you are aware, but just to repeat, there was another individual who had snuck in from Trinidad. That person turned himself in, and I think proceedings are continuing with respect to the legal action, etc., for that person. I urge members of the community to remain vigilant and to protect yourselves. Your neighbors or your friends may assist in sneaking someone into Grenada. That would be putting us all at risk. And I encourage individuals, as they have been, encourage individuals to bring information forward to the police or Ministry of Health if they suspect that someone has come in illegally into Grenada, or that someone has not followed the proper procedures with respect to quarantine, health clearance, etc., in entering Grenada. I want to say with that, based on the information we've received thus far with the last individual who came in from Trinidad, is that we dodged the bullet. Fortunately, the individual tested negative, but based on information from his circulation and his moving about before he was apprehended or turned himself in, individual came into Carriacou, took a crowded Osprey from Carriacou to Grenada, went to visit family at the General Hospital, into one of the wards at the General Hospital, and was being harbored by family who work or have connections with one of the call centers. Had that individual been positive, this would have been the perfect storm with respect to COVID, and we would have had a significant or severe outbreak. We have been lucky by the grace of God, and we continue to, as we refer to it, dodge the bullet. But we do believe that we cannot expect to take the blessings of God for granted as a nation, or the luck that we have had and the good work of the individual's Ministry of Health, Royal Grenada Police Force. And that as such, we must move forward to remove the risk as opposed to mitigating the risk. Last week I met with members of Grenada Medical and Dental Council, as well as with Grenada Medical Association, in which they assured me that this week they will be making definitive statements in support of vaccination as a professional entity, medical professional entities or organizations, and would be working with us to encourage their members and members of the public to be vaccinated. So I'm looking forward to their statements this week. I will be meeting tomorrow with the Nursing Association as well, and looking forward to similar cooperation as a professional entity involved in medicine. And vaccines are clearly accepted as the medical solution to diseases like COVID-19. We are also taking one more initiative. Over the next several weeks, we have partnered with, as Senator Cox mentioned before, Grenada Lotto has been a partner with us from the beginning. And we are joining forces between now and the 27th, that all persons who have been vaccinated will automatically be entered in a lottery draw. And anyone who comes forward between now and the 27th will also be automatically entered into a lottery draw, which will be done on the 27th for 10,000 EC dollars. So each dose, if you come forward for one dose, you have one ticket, so to speak. If you have come forward and received 2 doses, you have 2 tickets. We want to thank Lottery for their cooperation. We'll be working and promoting and giving more information on the draw, but it's basically straightforward. You get vaccinated, you're in it. As they say, you got to be in it to win it. You get vaccinated, you're in it. I know many people out there have been going through the economic negative effects of COVID-19. And as such, I'm sure that $10,000 draw will go a long way in double benefit of them coming forward to be vaccinated to protect themselves, their livelihoods and their loved ones, and then also having a chance at a 10,000. I see many persons in the room smiling. I'm sure they are quite happy that they are already entered and quite likely have their two chances in it. But there are many out there, I think, that can use this opportunity where you've been hesitant. I know many persons have been saying, that they will take it, they're just waiting a while. Well, now we're giving the incentive to take it sooner rather than later, so we don't end up in a situation like we see in our neighboring countries. Trinidad in particular, our thoughts and prayers go out to them, where individuals are rushing now to get the vaccine, and for some, regrettably, it is too late. Most of the figures we have now, real world figures, are showing of the current cases that are occurring in various countries. 97% of them are for individuals or with individuals who are not vaccinated or not fully vaccinated. So I look forward to individuals doing their part to protect themselves, to protect the community, and also to take part in this probably much needed economic boost or game of chance with lottery. We're also most grateful that many other individuals have been working with us in the community, encouraging, incentivizing, communicating, educating persons. So again, I want to thank the Medical Association for their commitment to participate, as well as the Medical and Dental Council. I want to thank members of the Trade Union Congress who have been actively participating, encouraging individuals to take the vaccine, as most of them have, to protect themselves. The churches, members of clergy who have also been doing that, our neighbors, and also those of us who have been looking on. Our hearts and our thoughts and prayers go out as well to our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts, who up until a week and some ago were like us, benefiting from the various severe and protective measures that we've put in place. But they too were unable to dodge the bullet, and that is what worries us, that at some point in Grenada as well, luck will run out or the blessings will run out, and we need to be prepared for that. We have our August weekend coming up, which we know many friends and family will be visiting, and as such we do understand that we need to be prepared as best as possible for any possible breaches that will occur that may end up putting us at extreme risk or causing a small or large outbreak. And the only way to prevent that is to make sure that we're all vaccinated so we can welcome and enjoy our time with our friends and family here in Grenada and those who might be visiting us. So, with having said that, let me end by again thanking Lottery, thanking Medical and Dental Council for their cooperation and participation, and GMA, Medical Association of Grenada, for their commitment to work with us, and looking forward to seeing more and more of you come forward to take the vaccine so that we can get past. Let me just put a saying out there that I've seen circulating on Facebook recently that I think is most appropriate, which is that we are all free to choose, but we are not free from the consequences of our choice. And I do hope that most of us who are choosing to delay taking the vaccine will not suffer the consequences of that. God forbid that we have an outbreak of COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister Nicholas Steele and Senator Cox. Colleagues, good morning. Are you ready with your questions? I see GBN, good morning.
Good morning. Morning to the Minister. My first question, Cox, and it's in relation to the Florida government school situation there. I have not heard any mention based on the projects that you gave. I've not heard any mention of any work to be undertaken there and the situation at hand. What can you tell us in relation to that, please? What can the people expect?
Disrepair, and so a decision has been taken to construct a new school for Florida government. The student school designs are being undertaken to have a new school built. That is what is happening. Thank you.
In the meantime, what are they to do in terms of relocation? Is there any plans for them to be relocated?
I believe that
around the time that
the Ministry of
you have students being registered for the new school term, and nothing cannot take place because they don't know what's happening. As far as I've been informed by the PTA president, there have not been any consultation or any word coming from the ministry or ministries, meaning Ministry of Education and perhaps so your ministry.
Okay, thank you very much for that. What I can tell you is that our ministry is charged with the responsibility to treat with the infrastructure aspect of the matter. However, as regards to the relocation of the students, I know that the Ministry of Education, we have had some discussions with them, and they are treating with that. We can follow up with them to get some more information as to what is taking place, or yourself can also reach out to them in that regard. But they would have more details on the actual the education aspect in terms of where the students will go. But I know that they have been already preparing for that. Thank you.
That's it from you, Christelina?
I do have two more questions, and that goes to Minister Steele.
Can you repeat, Christelina?
Yes, I said my following two questions is to Minister Steele.
Go ahead.
Is it true that taxi operators have to be vaccinated to qualify for the concessionary loan package offers through the Grenada Development Bank? And the second question to Minister Steele, where is the funds coming from that you just now spoke of chance at winning some of money? Where is that funds?
Okay, not aware for the loan or incentive or support program. I would think if I were Caribbean Development Bank, or like any bank, when they give a loan, they want to ensure the survivability, longevity of the individual or the establishment that they're loaning to. So if that were a request, I personally think that that would be a reasonable request, because they want to make sure that the individuals continue to work and are not interrupted by getting sick, or God forbid that they should die from COVID-19 in a job that does have a relatively increased level of risk of infection as a taxi driver in the tourism industry now. So like I said, I'm not aware of those details, but if that were a condition, I could see or understand the rationale for it. With respect to where the funds are coming from, these funds are coming from Lotto, and Lotto needs to be recognized throughout this in the last year and some for the tremendous support. Lotto Canadian Banknote as well, for the significant support they've given us in kind and in financial support in terms of equipment, etc. And they're joining again with us in this initiative.
That's it from you, Christelina?
No less, thanks.
All right. I have a question here for Senator Cox from Troy Gill, MTV. Can you give an update on the quarry at Telescope, St. Andrew?
I'm not sure what in particular that the person may be asking. Is there anything particular about the quarry? The quarry is currently being manned by the Gravel and Concrete. They're responsible for the quarry and Telescope. I don't know. That is all I can say.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Minister Steele, somebody is asking, apparently there are some queries with respect to the authorization forms to be updated, to be filled out. They want to know if it can be updated so that an individual can save and return to a particular place in the event that they don't have all the information one time. Because I think what they're saying is right now there's no option to save, like they have to have all the information one time. So I'm not sure.
No, I assume you're talking about the online system for travel authorization. Once you log on the first time, giving your email or email address, yes, if you don't complete, you log off, you close the page, you go away and the page times out or so. When you log back on, you will be asked to give your email again. It will give you a one-time password, but it brings you back to the application, or will show at the bottom of the page that you have a previously uncompleted application there that you can continue to fill out, or that's the way it's supposed to work. So I want to take this opportunity as well to recognize that in the past week and some, we have been inundated with requests. In fact, up to last week, checking with the team at the travel desk, they had approximately 11,000 applications for between the next 2 days to several months down the road of persons applying and expecting and looking for their response and approval. As a result, we're taking on more individuals onto that travel desk this week. We will be almost doubling the number of individuals who will be there to deal with the application process. And I do expect that by weekend, those individuals will be fully involved, and we should begin to see some results with faster approval times, etc. I want to apologize to anybody out there who have been experiencing undue or unexpected delays in getting a response from the desk. And I know that in some cases, or most cases, causes a level of anxiety. We do apologize for that. This is a system that we've put in place that has been working, has been keeping us safe. In recent weeks, the system has received a significant increase in applications, and we have moved as quickly as possible to make the adjustments so that we can continue to serve the public as best as possible, keeping us all safe and sound here in Grenada.
Thank you, Minister. Nancy Maguire, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, ministers. I have a couple questions for Senator Cox. In March, you had said that the contracts for the traffic lights restoration would be out by month end. And you'd also said something about training persons to maintain the lights once they get installed. Can you provide us an update on that? And you said earlier about there'd been discussions with local residents about the concept designs for Sea Moon. Can you enlighten us on those concept designs? And for Minister Steele, could you give us an update on the status of our vaccine supplies, expiry dates, and any pursuit of alternative vaccines for persons under 18 years? And also, you just mentioned you doubled the staff at the travel desk. What is that in terms of numbers? Thank you both.
Thank you very much, Nancy, for your question. So on traffic lights, yes, we were at that time getting ready to. Evaluations were being taken place at the time, so evaluations have concluded, and a requisite contractor has been chosen. However, the preferred company that was selected is a company called Caritrans from Trinidad. However, because of COVID, we had some delays in implementation, and additionally, we had some changes that we were advised by Legal Affairs as regards to the configuration of the contract, because it's a different type of contract that we're issuing. We're issuing one where design, build, and also to train persons that's confined within the contract itself. So we made some changes, so that delayed the issuing of the contract. So we believe that within the next week or two, no later than that, a contract will be issued for the retrofitting of the traffic lights. So we are almost there with that project. As regards to the Sea Moon Cultural Center project, yes, those consultations were held quite some time now, more than a year ago. That when before the designs were developed for the cultural center. A concept was discussed with the community in St. Andrews, in Sea Moon area in particular, to present to them and to get their buy-in and contributions towards the concept. So that was done quite some time now. So I just made a reference to it as part of the process for us to get where we are today in terms of having the project being tendered. Thank you very much.
And Nancy, with respect to the current stock of vaccines, AstraZeneca, that was received most recently, that's the 21,600 that we received about 2 weeks ago. Those will expire at the end of August. With respect to any other vaccines or so, as was announced by Prime Minister and by the U.S. government, the U.S. President himself, we are looking forward to receiving vaccines from the United States government. I'm aware that Trinidad has already received some, and therefore, as soon as those come, we will announce. I'm maintaining the same policy or principle, which is when we have it in our hands, we count it. Anything else that's on the way or so, we don't count it until we have actually received it. The travel desk had approximately 8 persons working, between 6 and 8 persons working at the desk. We're adding another 6 are due to start today, and I'm looking forward to the other 2 quite possibly starting before the end of the week, as well as a new virtual switchboard, because I know some of the complaints have been being unable to get through to persons to ask questions or so. So we're hoping that that switchboard, virtual switchboard, will make a difference as well.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Cox, I have another one for you. Somebody from social media is asking if you can give any update about the Marquee Bridge that they say has been falling apart for some time now.
Thank you very much for your question. The Marquee Bridge, not only just the Marquee, but a number of other bridges and roadways are currently under review. What you find happening is that the process is that our engineering team, civil engineers, they would go out, do the assessment, and they will also prepare requisite designs for remedial work. And then thereafter, those designs are quantified, bills of quantities are there and attached. So it's a process. I know that a number of work that we have outstanding, some persons may think that we are taking long, but it's not just that we are taking long. There is a process that we must apply if we are to execute the job in a proper way and successfully. So be rest assured that we are looking after it and we are going to address it. Thank you very much for raising that. Yeah.
Thank you, Senator. MTV, good morning. MTV, are you ready with your questions? If not, GBN, good morning. Colleagues, can we please do this? Senator Cox, while they get ready, can you just give us a bit more information in terms of the scope of work to be undertaken on the St. Johns River? What exactly will be done and the cost of that project? When exactly will it start? When is it expected to be completed? Things like that.
Okay, thank you very much. What is expected on that project is significant work in terms of actually the dredging of the riverbed. The sides of the river, the embankment are going to be built in some cases, reinforced concrete. In some cases, gabion baskets are going to be used where appropriate. The whole idea is to allow for a smoother flow of the river, to avoid and to prevent overflowing of the banks. That is the main challenge that we have in the area. We have seen a number of significant incidents where vehicles, even some persons being washed away. And so we're trying to avoid that. So that is what the project seeks to do. In terms of the costs, I do not have all the costs at hand because and the reason for that is that we divided up the project in 4 packages. And for reasons that we were trying to get as much persons, well, not as much persons, but 2 to 3 persons to participate in implementation, so we divide it up in packages. And so one of the things that we have been doing is we have been negotiating with the contractors in trying to get the best price. So after a person's tender and we receive those bids, you'll call them, and engineers will sit down, the consulting firm, which is Best On, who did the designs for us. They will sit with them and work with them to get the price down. Of course, we try to get value for money. And so I know that negotiations have been going on for 1 or 2 of those packages. So it's not finalized yet. So the overall price for the job has not been finalized yet, but it's a couple $1 million as well. Because it's a very high risk work. Is a kind of volatile work in the sense that you're actually working in water, so you have to. It's time sensitive, and we require a lot of heavy equipment. In some cases, working late. You may have interruptions, because in the rainy season. Unfortunately, we are trying to get this done in the dry season to avoid any significant interruptions. But the rainy season is quickly approaching, so we are hoping that they can probably get out of ground before we have any major issues. So it's a dicey one for us. We were looking at about 6 to 8 months for the duration of that project, to complete that project. And now that we are getting to rainy season, there is a likelihood that it might take a little longer. So the discussions that we're having is that we want them to try and implement as safely as possible. That is the most important thing, that the workmen are safe. And the challenge with the time, we will just have to see how we work with it. But the whole issue is to get it implemented safely as possible. So we are very confident that the contractors, both Sunrise Construction and Creative Design, do have the competencies and expertise and experience to implement this successfully. So we are very comfortable with that. You're welcome.
Nancy McGuire, you have another question? All right, is MTV or GBN ready?
Hello? Yes, hello?
Nancy, go ahead, we're hearing you.
Okay, thank you. My other question is really my question again for Minister Cox regarding the training component of the traffic lights. Last time you had implied it might involve the Royal Grenada Police Force, so I just want some clarity there. And again, a repeat for Minister Steele regarding any pursuit of vaccines for people under 18 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. I think I did mention it briefly, but I will discuss further. Yes, the training component in the implementation of the traffic lights project is one that is significant towards the sustainability of and the operation of the facility thereafter. Currently, well, previously, all our traffic ICT assets were manned by the ICT department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. So is it in that context that we expect and that they will be part and parcel. They are key stakeholder in the implementation of this project and the operation of the traffic lights, of course, and for obvious reasons. Now that we have the Transport Commission, who will be a key stakeholder also going forward in terms of the traffic management of the traffic in Grenada, they will play a key role in that regard. We have indicated previously, and we will see that going forward, that more amendments will be made to the Transport Commission Act. So as more responsibilities are given to the Transport Commission, more amendments will be made to the Act going forward. So that is one of the responsibilities I believe that the Commission will have to take under its wing going forward. So yes, training is going to be done. We are having some discussions with the Commission and looking at not just the police, but we may provide some opportunity for other persons outside of the police to get some requisite training just for capacity building purposes as well. And persons who we may turn to as service providers for maintaining the system going forward, they will be part and parcel of the training process as well. So we're looking at long term to ensure that we get value for money, that the traffic lights operate and provide the necessary support and the objective that is seek to do to maintain a safe and smooth flow of traffic in Grenada. Thank you, Nancy.
Nancy, with respect to the current vaccines that we have are not authorized as yet, and we're looking forward to that, but are not authorized for use of anyone under 18. We do look forward to getting clearance. We know that there are many studies going on right now in terms of allowing individuals, especially in the UK, allowing individuals under the age of 18 to take the vaccine. I do believe that it is safe for those individuals, but we're going to follow to the letter what we said we always would, which is WHO recommendations. If and when we do have a vaccine that is approved for persons under 18, most definitely we would make it available to our minors in Grenada who are willing to take the vaccine.
Thank you, Minister. MTV, good morning.
Good morning. My question is for the Minister of Health. So there are unconfirmed reports circulating also on social media that individuals are not being allowed on the SGU compound for not being vaccinated. Can you confirm if there is any truth to this claim? And also, what can you highlight for us? What exactly is the protocol with regards to being vaccinated at SGU? Thanks.
I do believe that SGU had made announcements several weeks ago that as of the 15th of June, they would expect that the only persons allowed back on campus, employees, students, or visitors, would be fully vaccinated, or first dose at least, vaccinated individuals. And I want to congratulate them for taking that step, for putting the lives and livelihoods of their employees and their students, and of all of us here in Grenada, first and foremost. And I know that through the Ministry of Health as well, other establishments in many hotels have taken that step to ensure the health and safety of their guests as well as their employees and us by putting forward that they are going to use all of the tools available to protect their employees, themselves, and their patrons. So we support that initiative. I think it needs to be recognized. I look forward to there being, as far as I'm aware, there was open dialogue between SGU management and the trade unions. I look forward to that continuing. I think it is healthy and continues in the spirit of labor relations. I am very much aware that most, if not all, of our senior trade unionists have seen the benefits of the vaccine and have taken it themselves in order to protect themselves and their loved ones. And I do hope that in the communications that go forward, in them representing their workers, that they put the health and safety of their workers first and foremost, and use the fact that they're held in high esteem and respect by their workers to engage their workers in a dialogue as to why they took the vaccine and what the benefits of the vaccine are. I think it's necessary for us to get past COVID-19 regardless of which sector we represent, so that we can continue to ensure all of the other standards that we hold in high esteem. Trade unions are going to want to make sure that their workers' interests and their workers' rights are maintained always. The right to life, the right to a healthy environment should be first and foremost, so that a healthy worker, a worker who's alive, can be fought for with respect to salary, working conditions, right to choose on anything else also. Comes afterwards, I think. If you're in hospital struggling to breathe, or if you have died, it's difficult for your union to represent you with your rights there. I speak for myself on this. I do not intend to be antagonistic at all with any of our trade unions. I know that they have been, to a significant part, quite supportive throughout this COVID pandemic, as best as possible, and I look forward to that continuing. And the only way that I can see that that can continue is that we put COVID-19 behind us, and the only way to put COVID-19 behind us is to get vaccinated.
Do you have another question, Troy, before we move on to Nancy Maguire?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, Nancy, go right ahead.
Thank you. On the collaboration with Lotto, how will Lotto will the Ministry of Health hand over the names of everybody that's had their shots? Or how does that work? Thank you.
No, everyone who comes to get the vaccine is registered on the Ministry of Health's registry. And in doing so, it gives you a unique number. So no, we don't have to give, and we will not. We will be protecting the rights and privacy of the individuals who have taken the vaccine. But with Lotto, we work in conjunction, that Lotto randomly picks a number. Like, for instance, right now we have 18,000 individuals who have taken the vaccine, first dose, at least the first dose. So 1 to 18,000. And then there are another 9,000 that have bought an additional ticket, so to speak. So they will have as well an additional unique number each time they take the vaccine. And Lotto will just randomly select those numbers. That's the way I see it working. That's the way in initial discussions they also agree. But we are going to finalize that later on today. What we have confirmed is the basic broad strokes, that the draw would be on the 27th of June, and that the amount would be 10,000, and that individuals who have already taken the vaccine are already entered, and those who come forward will immediately, just by taking the vaccine, be able to be in it.
Colleagues, anybody else with questions?
Yes, just for confirmation for Minister Steele, did you say that persons would automatically be entered into the draw? And so my question is, can persons opt out of being automatically selected to be a part of this?
I think persons can say that they want to give their winnings to charity, or they don't want to collect the $10,000, and I would assume in that instance Lotto would draw again, or so. I'm sure it's something that maybe Lotto has participated in, or in most of our other competitions that I see, private sector or so, where they say employees of the entity are not eligible in those cases. If that person is drawn, then you draw again. So if somebody vaccinated already, or somebody coming forward over the next 2 weeks to be vaccinated, does not want to be involved for whatever reasons, I guess that's their prerogative. I'm looking forward to finding out why somebody would do that, but that would be their prerogative.
Colleagues, anybody else? GBN, are you ready now?
Yes, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Minister Steele. I just want to find out, Minister, what is the logic for maintaining the paid PCR test for vaccinated visitors? Don't you see this as a deterrent to tourism?
Yes, it is. So too has been closing the borders. So too has been the test before persons board a flight. But to be honest, right now, that PCR test and the 48 hours that fully vaccinated persons have to endure is to protect the unvaccinated population of Grenada. The vaccinated population of Grenada are relatively safe from anyone coming in with COVID-19. It is the unvaccinated population of Grenada that we still have to safeguard, and therefore make sure that although there is an extremely slim chance of someone having COVID-19 who is fully vaccinated, and then on top of that they probably won't even know, because 99 or whatever the percentage is, percent don't have any symptoms, or extremely mild, is not life-threatening. But we need to protect those of us who are not vaccinated. As a Ministry of Health and as a government, we have to put measures in place to protect all of our people as best as possible. And that is what we have been doing since the beginning of this pandemic. And that is what we have to continue to do. And that is why I am hoping that more and more individuals will come forward and take the vaccine, so that these various prohibitive, expensive inconveniences and deterrents to travel to Grenada can be removed.
Any other from you, Chrislina, before we move on to Callistra? All right, Callistra, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead.
Yes. Good morning, Minister. A moment ago, you said the only way we can put COVID behind us is to have everyone vaccinated. I am wondering whether or not we may want to rethink that particular, if you believe that maybe we should rethink that particular message, given that while the data and the science that we keep talking about shows that your chances of having to be hospitalized if you contract the virus is less. But there are people with compromised immune systems. You have people who just won't take the vaccine and won't be forced or enticed or coerced into taking the vaccine. So we will end up with some people who won't take it, as is their right. And we have some people who would have it but still not be protected because of their health situation. Is it right for us to give the idea that if we are vaccinated, then we are safe, so that, we can not follow the protocols? I see people are sneezing in people's faces again in Grenada. And it's not just COVID, it's the flu as well. But are we sending the right message when we give people the impression that what we are giving is, we're selling a message as if we're giving a cure, and we're not giving a cure, we're giving a protection. And it's not a full protection based on the science.
Well, Callistra, let me answer your question with a question. Haven't we put polio behind us? Haven't we put measles behind us? Have we put chickenpox behind us? Haven't we put tuberculosis behind us? All of those have been put behind us because of vaccinations. There's the same individuals in society that are immunocompromised or so that cannot at a certain point in time take the polio vaccine or the measles, the mumps, the rubella vaccine. But as long as a majority of us take it, then the science kicks in and we protect those who can't take it. The pregnant woman right now, or the person who has health concerns, legitimate health concerns that can't take the vaccine. And yes, even the individual who just for their own personal reasons decides to defy the science and not take it. The rest of us protect them the same way the rest of us protect them from polio, from mumps, measles, rubella, tuberculosis. So yes, vaccination is the only way that we can put COVID-19 behind us. Yes, you will hear the WHO say that if we take too long to get everyone vaccinated, we run the risk of the virus mutating, and as such having to have booster dose or additional vaccines. But it still boils down to the same thing. Vaccination is the way to put it behind us.
All right. Callistra, do you have any other question?
But you spoke about those traditional illnesses that we have managed to put behind us. But can we compare what we have now, the nature of the vaccine that we are using at this stage, the experimental vaccine that we're using at this stage, can you compare it to what the final product for immunization against the other illnesses that you referenced in your comments, in your response? Can we put it on the same level, really, in terms of what it does when you take it? And I'm not
yes, Callistra, we can, because it's the same science.
I'm talking about the purpose.
We can, because it's the same science. The adenovirus vaccine, which is what the AstraZeneca is based on, has been around for decades and used to eradicate other viruses. So yes, we can. I thank you for that question. It's science-based, and this vaccine is not experimental. No, it's gone through its experimental stage. It works. The science shows it works. Emergency use license is not the same as experimental use. So let's be concise and factual to the public. Emergency use license is not experimental use. This is not a mass experiment on society. This is recognizing a global pandemic, and therefore the WHO has given emergency use on something that is not experimental. It is an adenovirus vaccine that has been around for decades, used to eradicate other viruses, and as such, that's why we can comfortably say that once we get vaccinated in time, that's we being the world, we can eradicate COVID-19 the same way that we have eradicated polio, measles, mumps, rubella, and all of the others.
Any other final question, Callistra? We're getting ready to wrap up.
I did mean to say emergency use, Minister, not experimental. So that was a rare mistake on my part. But there are some differences. I mean, the vaccine for those who've taken it, it does not prevent transmission. It does not prevent illness really to 100%. It's the numbers. We have high numbers, but not 100% as far as I know. And there have been countries with population size similar to us who have achieved 60% and above vaccination rates, who went right back and were seeing 50% of their population testing positive and being affected by the virus. So my concern here is the messaging. We call vaccination, yes, it's a solution of sorts. it's a solution to a certain extent. But I am concerned that we are giving the population the impression that everything is going to be all right if 60% of the population takes it. And I mean, are we really going to be 100% all right if 60% takes it?
Callistra, let's deal with some numbers here. I don't know of any country that has received, that has obtained optimal level of vaccination, and that has fallen back into their majority of their citizens or so suffering from COVID-19. But I want to give a comparison. Over the last 3 weeks, thereabouts, of two countries. The United Kingdom, with a population of 66 million, and Trinidad, with a population of 1.2 million. The United Kingdom over the last 3 or 4 weeks has been averaging 5,000 new cases of COVID-19 per day. Trinidad over the last 3 or 4 weeks has been averaging 500 max, let's say, new cases of COVID-19 per day, between 200 and 500. So let's say 5,000 new cases, 500 new cases per day. The number of persons dying in the United Kingdom with the 5,000 new cases and population of 66 million, between 12 and 20 per day over that period. The number of persons dying in Trinidad with a population of 1.2 and 200 to 500 cases per day, between 12 and 20. Why? Because the United Kingdom has vaccinated the majority of their at-risk population. So that's what you call real-world data that you can use to compare. No vaccine is 100%, but that real-world example of two countries we're very familiar with, of data that you can go compare and see, shows the benefits of vaccination. And that's what we are saying. We may not be able to keep COVID-19 out of Grenada, but if we get to the level of vaccination that the United Kingdom has and keeps going further and further forward with, we could expect those same kind of ratios, that we will not have our health system inundated. We will not see what we're seeing, regrettably, in Trinidad, compared to 1.2 million compared to 66 million, 5,000 cases compared to 500 cases, and the same number of people dying. I would expect that as Trinidad proceeds with this vaccination drive, that their ratios will drop significantly as well, as will any country that pushes forward with its vaccination.
Thank you, Minister. Colleagues, thank you. We have to leave it there. We are at the 11 o'clock hour. So, gentlemen, I'll give you the opportunity to say any final words you have. Senator Cox, I'll start with you.
Thank you very much. As always, I want to thank the media houses for the questions. It's important that we continue to engage them. It's important through this medium we give an opportunity for the public to be updated on what we do. We have a responsibility to do that. I do not want to close on infrastructure, but I think the challenge we have before us is COVID-19, and if we do not get it or keep it out, we may not have infrastructure to speak about. So I think the whole issue of the health and safety of the nation supersedes everything else at this point in time. And so I want to join my fellow colleague, Minister, and to emphasize, I think the conversation probably is not been leveled probably in the right place, and very little of no mention or attention has been paid to lives being lost. You know, we go by every day, and persons over and over try to justify not protecting themselves, at the same time putting other persons at risk. And, you know, people die every day because they are doing the same thing that those persons who choose not to protect themselves, that is the reason why they die. And that is the conversation. they didn't die because they took the vaccine. They didn't die because they take AstraZeneca. They didn't die because they take Pfizer. They died because they refuse to take the vaccine and to leave themselves at risk. And that is the conversation that we ought to be having. The question is, should we wait until we have a serious situation here? I mean, I know what the feedback may be from some of the same persons who are defending their position now. They wouldn't forgive us as government, as leaders. They wouldn't forgive us, God forbid, something like that happen. I could recall, and I want to go back, I could recall when we started in this fight against COVID, there was a strong call for us to be able to test, the white government isn't testing, where is the testing? We started testing, we had several machines and we started testing. Then the efficacy of the test came into question. So sometimes it's a little bit mind-boggling when you as government you go out of your way to do everything that you can, and still there are persons who are going to find another reason why there should not be why we take this stand, or why we shouldn't do this. But we believe as government, and which we continue to say, and which the Prime Minister continue to emphasize, that we have a responsibility to protect this country, and we believe that the majority of persons do believe that we are doing the right thing, and we recognize that there are persons with genuine fear. That is understood. That is acceptable, and we have already said over and over that there are mediums, there are avenues where we can get persons who can help with dealing with it, and to get the requisite information. But I think the conversation of persons losing their life, and I'm certain that almost every one of us knows somebody who would have lost their life from COVID. I am certain, in the diaspora. So I don't know. I don't know what else it will take to create that level of awareness where persons make that decision. But we are going to continue. We're going to continue to work to do as much as we can to get people in that mindset, so that we can keep them alive. It is plain as simple as it, but it's a difficult task. It's a complex one, and we know that there are a number of competing views. And that is one of the challenges that we are dealing with. But we have been consistent in our utterances. We have been consistent in our effort. And it's for those reasons we believe that we have to continue to do that. But what we are saying at this point in time, what we have always leveled, is that the risk still remains. And until we have sufficient persons who have taken 2 doses or 1 dose to at least create some level of protection, it is only there and then we believe that we have a chance to successfully come out from this, and that is all that we are saying. That is just as simple as that. So I it's something that I'm very passionate about, because I have family members who have health challenges as well. And so if you have underlying risk, by not being vaxxed, in some cases only increase your risk. So I don't know. I don't know, but we just have to continue pressing on. And I know it has been tough for us on our side. We have been every day trying to look at every avenue that we can to see how we can continue to get more and more people on board. And I just want to commend the Ministry of Health, of course the Minister, everybody, all the entire team, the entire cabinet, and the response that we have gotten from the nation in terms of how persons would have acceded to the regulations, how persons would have worked with us, the police who have been there every night working with us to ensure that we remain safe. So those are some of the things that I believe that we take for granted some of the things that happen in the background. And I just feel that it's something that I just wanted to speak about this morning. So I hope I didn't go on too long, but it's not as easy and simple as how persons look at it. Person's life is at risk, and if we know that there's a way that we can at least offer some level of protection, all we're asking is to give it some strong consideration. That is all we're asking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. And Honorable Minister Steele.
Well, I think Senator Cox spoke very passionately about his support and recognition, and I think that's a point I want to use as my final point, that we all, as leaders, and I think most of us, if not all of us, are leaders in some form or fashion. Members of the media, trade union, clergy, parent, mother, father, brother, even amongst our peers. There's peer pressure or there's leadership. And I think anyone who has taken the vaccine would have taken the vaccine in recognition of two things, or attempting to do two things. One, to protect themselves and their loved ones, and two, in the hope that we can remove the threat to us all. And as such, I think they do have an obligation, wherever possible, to speak to why they took it and spend the time to convince others who may look up at them or look across at them as equals, to help that person who has not yet taken the vaccine to understand what brought them to take it. And sometimes that's all it takes. And that we should not be spending time, those of us who have taken the vaccine, to have gone to take the vaccine like a thief in the night, because there's nothing to be ashamed of in taking the vaccine. And that if we have taken the vaccine, we should not be spending our time and effort now that we have made ourselves safe to create an environment whereby others who have not yet taken it you are creating further obstacles to them taking it. I think we should be spending our time getting our friends, our members, our congregation on board, and not encouraging individuals not to take it as and saying that it's your right. It is your right to choose, but it's also an obligation as human beings for us to look after each other and to try and help each other health-wise. And I think that is primary first. And if main thing I want to close on, if an individual has taken the vaccine, why would an individual who's taken the vaccine now spend their time, effort, and energy preventing others, delaying others from taking the vaccine? It seems to conflict. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Health and Social Security, Nicholas Steele, as well as Minister for Infrastructure Development, Transport and Implementation, Senator Nolan Cox. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Colleagues, those of you who joined us via Zoom, thank you as well to the viewers who joined us on Channel 22 of Facebook page, the YouTube channel and our live stream, GIS TV, Grenada.org. And of course, to those of you in the diaspora and those of you who sent your questions via social media. And of course, last but not least, my colleagues in the room with us this morning. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Have a blessed day, everybody. Thank you.